Hello, this is the Hanged Man, and I'm going to be doing a tutorial on the making your own custom reskins for armor in Fallout 3, New Vegas, and possibly the Elder Scrolls Construction Kit. When it comes to the Elder Scrolls Construction Kit, there are some differences between Fallout 3, New Vegas, and Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. However, if you're used to Oblivion and the G.E.C.K, then you shouldn't have too much trouble emulating the three. Fallout 3 and New Vegas are almost identical, as I said before. So if you're using Fallout 3, you shouldn't have too much trouble. To do this, you are going to need the Garden of Eden Creation Kit or the Elder Scrolls Construction Set. You are also going to need the Fallout Mod Manager, which is here. Let me just, yep, nope. I don't want to fuck with the Fallout any, so I'll just press no. Basically, you will need this, as seen here. This is a perfect tool if you're making Fallout mods or even installing them. It can fix many problems. You will also need this if you're using anything but Photoshop and GIMP. If you're using Photoshop and GIMP, there is a plugin for editing these files as DDS textures. If not, you will need this DXT software to basically convert your pictures, your maps of clothing into DDS files. But we'll get to that later. And make sure that you have pretty much all of these things at your disposal, except the DXT texture thing. I'll take you through that later. Okay, now we're ready to get started. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing you're going to do is need to find your armor. You can find armors under the item tab under the armor section. Look, it even has its own little section just for you. Now, these aren't exactly easily named, so you're going to have to do some digging. You can research or whatever on what your armor's called in game files. Open it up, and you're going to want to change the ID. Make sure that it's a different ID to the one you selected if you want to make a different form. If not and you want to make a replacement, then just go ahead with anything. If it helps, put 00 because it's always at the top. Name it whatever you want it to appear in as, well, appear as in game. This basically is its weight, how much it's worth, and amongst other things. So yeah, you can make it worth as much as you want. Maybe you could just put a t-shirt in the world and sell it for 10,000 caps. It's really up to you. Okay, now this is really all we need for now. So I'm just going to click OK. One thing, oh yes, remember to press yes for create a new form, or otherwise you'll overwrite the old one. If you do want to overwrite the old one, then just keep the name the same, the ID the same rather, and it will overwrite the old one. Okay, your next step is to make the material. So, sorry, it's quite late. Yeah, so your next step is to make the material. So save it rather, as I'm going to save it as stupid T, and just save it. And we're done with the G.E.C.K for now, so close it. I'll leave it open, it's up to you. Closing it might speed your PC up a bit. And I think we're ready to move on to textures. Your next step is to open up the Fallout Mod Manager. So let's get it open. Depending on what game you play. No, I'm not fucking with you any. Okay, so you're gonna want to go to Tools, and you're going to want to go to BSA browser, which is here. Okay, so you're going to want to open up the texture files. They won't be Oblivion symbols, that's just because I was editing Oblivion last, so yeah. Okay, double click on the texture. Texture 1 I think has all the textures in. Let's go for a gamble. If you can't find the texture here, it'll probably be in texture 2. Okay, now you need to press extract all, and extract it to your desktop. There you go. Now this bar goes ever so slowly, so let me explain a few things. Oh bugger, I've just realised I've already got a folder called textures from when I modded Oblivion. So that means my Fallout New Vegas textures are going to be mixed in with my Oblivion textures, and now I'm going to fall to my knees and cry. Okay, maybe not. Yeah, if you do mod any other games, make sure that there's no folders called texture on your desktop, because you'll have to sift through about 3 games worth of textures. So yeah, you have been warned. Um, the next part we're going to be doing is editing the textures. So whilst this is loading, if you haven't already, you might want to think up an idea. Um, Obviously I'm with stupid is just an example. I'm not actually going to make that as a mod. So whatever your idea was as a texture, I'd recommend uh, thinking about what you're going to do. And if you don't have an idea, quick, make one up because soon that green bar is going to come across and you'll have to move on to the next step. So, yeah. Okay, for your mercy, I've fast forwarded. Um, fast forwarded. Fast forward, because that took about 10 minutes. So, yeah, especially when I was recording, it was even slower. And I've also, for your mercy, found the armor I was looking for. Now, you gotta go into your textures folder, and then you got to go into armor, and then you'll find a big list, and then you just gotta try and find your armor. Okay, now then, this is where we actually edit the texture with whatever we have. Photoshop, Fireworks, GIMP, Paint, whatever. So my recommendation is simply, if you have Photoshop, then you can get a plugin so you can skip this step, but I can't teach you how to install the plugin because I don't own Photoshop and I have no idea what the hell you do for plugins or what. So I'm going to let you do some research on that, Google it or whatever, and try and find your plugin. For the rest of us mortals, we will have to look for this piece of software here. It's quite an old one, it's called DXT BMP. So, let me open up my browser. So I've opened up my browser, and I'm going to go on to, hold on, sorry. I'm going to go on to DXT BMP. DXT BMP texture tool. This is it. It's quite an old one, old software. It's from 2004. Jesus, even earlier than that. Yeah, but it gets the job done for what we'll need it for. You're not going to be doing any editing in this, don't worry. It's simply just to import and then export. That's literally all we're using it for. So download that. There's your download installing archive. And now we're going to open our little outfit in dxt.bm. Now that's what your outfit should look like. As you can see, it just looks like a map. It doesn't look like anything at the moment. This is because this is in edit mode. So we're going to save it as a 24-bit map image. Now this is the only downside to this method. You can't save it as a JPEG or any of those fancy high-tech image files that you youngsters have nowadays. It's only 24-bit map images. I'm sorry, nothing else I can do. So we're going to save it to, Jesus Christ, I'm going to save it to desktop. Okay, save. Okay. So now we've got outfit.bmp. We're going to save it, open it. I'm going to open it with Macromedia Fireworks 8. I don't have Photoshop and I prefer this over GIMP or Paint. Use GIMP or Paint to open the BMP file because this is what you're going to be editing. Okay. So what you're going to want to do now is you're going to want to edit it. Now I can't tell you what you want to do, so you're going to have to use your creativity here to add whatever you need. I'm going to do the same, and we'll meet up in about 2 minutes. Just, I don't know, go over some stuff. I'll just show you quickly what I'm doing. just add that. I'm not going to make a big deal out of this, so it's going to look like shit. Okay then. There we go. Now, I don't actually know what way up this goes. I presume that's the head. Is that the head? Feck it. I guess we'll just have to find out in a second, won't we? That's what I love about this. It's live dangerously. Okay. You won't survive in the modding communities if you don't live dangerously. If you noticed, I'm not really doing much effort with this at all. I'm not putting any effort into this. Okay. Now I'm going to save it. Save it as a BMP. I recommend if you're using a PNG file to save it as a PNG file and a BMP so you can edit it later in case this, whatever the hell it is, doesn't work out. Okay. So there's my outfit.bmp. Now we're going to want to open this dinosaur. I'm going to want to go back to Jesus. There it is, outfit.bmp. There we go. So we're going to want to save it now as a DDS texture file. outfit.dds. Good. Now that we've saved that, we're going to want to... Okay. So now you've saved it as a DDS texture file. If you don't know how that works, I simply just imported it in by opening the BMP file, save as DDS texture. Okay. So your next step is you're going to want to go into your Fallout New Vegas folder. Steam apps, common, Fallout New Vegas, data, textures. I recommend making an armors folder, but I can't even be arsed. I'm going to call it stupid T. Okay, and now we're just going to put it in there. So there it is, safe and snug inside your Fallout New Vegas data folder. If you don't know where that is, then it's in your Steam folder unless you've torrented it. I'm not going to help you if you've torrented it. Anyway, so the next stage is you're going to want to reopen your Garden of Eden creation kit. Now, remember what you named it as, or otherwise all hope is lost, and untick all these add-ons. Because, well, you can leave them ticked, I suppose, but I'm not going to. Now, remember this bit, press set as active file for your t-shirt. This is simply because, well, I did this before, and, well, basically I had about 10 versions of the same mod saved over before I learned of this. So yeah, press save as active file. That's if you're a new user. I'm not trying to insult anybody here. I'll wait for it all to load. I'll wait for it to crash. I'll wait for it to set my monitor on fire. There we go. Smoke's coming out the side of it. It should be done any minute now. It's like a microwave. Windows 7's really the way forward. If you haven't got it, you're living in the dark ages of... Sorry. Anyway, your next step is... No, bad hanged man, you've opened the wrong folder, you bastard. Right. Your next step is you're going to want to actually import the texture into the game. So what you're going to want to do with this is open miscellaneous, texture set, make a new texture. I'm going to call this stupid texture. So mature. Right, now you're going to want to click diffuse. Edit. Go back to desktop. You're going to want to scroll down. You are not going to want to do that. That is a stupid thing to do. I apologise. what you're going to want to do is go into textures, stupid T, and there it will be. It's not going to be called stupid T, it's going to be whatever you called it. So outfit m.dds, and there it is. You can add a normal file as well, but I'm not going to bother with that. And okay. And it should be, there it is, stupid texture. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go back into your armor, and it should be there if you've called it 00. If not, may God have mercy on your soul, you're going to have to go look for it. Especially if you called it something really complicated. Okay. So, right, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to actually import this. So you've already got your model inserted. You're going to want to add your new texture. So, for those of you who don't know, double click on that. Actually, no, it's upper body. I apologize. No, click on upper body, and then there you should find your texture somewhere on there if you've done it right. Look at that. Best day of my life. I've now got an I'm with stupid t-shirt that looks incredibly stupid because I've not done it right. Oh well. Okay. Now you're going to want the world model to look identical. So there it is. That's your new world model. Okay. And you're going to want to do the same with the female version. Although, I think that has a different... Oh no, it works. Very good. Actually, no, it's actually glitched up. Yeah, this is an important thing. If you have an armor that needs a male and a female version, you're going to have to make a male and female texture. One example is my Brunt uniform. It's called outfit M. You want the outfit F as well, which means outfit female. Otherwise, it's going to have stuff like that. Just a heads up. So click OK anyway, because I don't really care. And I think we are done. Obviously, these are... You don't need to tick any of these. I'll just tell you what they all do. That's power armor. So you need power armor training to wear it. That modulates the voice, so you've got like a radio voice when you speak. That only really makes sense if you've got a helmet. And quest item means you can't drop it. I don't know what has backpack means. Never clicked that. Okay, so now you are done. Click OK. Well done. You've got one last thing to do. You're going to have to import it into the world. So let's find a place we can drop it. I recommend putting it in Good Springs. Call it it's in GS. We'll put it in one of the graves. How's that? That's kind of cool. So whatever you're looking for, just scroll down and okay. So whilst you are in your wherever you are, you've probably chosen where you want to put it, and I respect that because we all have a right to choose where we place our clothes. Sorry, I'm in a bit of a weird mood. So anyway, there's an empty grave. Let's just plop it in there. Okay. So now it's placed in Good Springs Cemetery. Let's save it. If you saved it as active file, it should just do that. If not, then you're going to have to save it again. I recommend just redoing the last couple of steps and saving it as an active file. Okay, and then you're done. You just got to close the G.E.C.K. And now it's time to test it in Fallout New Vegas. Oh, wonderful. This happens a lot. Okay. Okay, so before I launch, I better remember to do this. There it is. stupidT.esp. done. Okay, so by now your item of clothing should look like this, with your texture fully on it. Well, as you can see, it all has turned out okay. Obviously, the arrow and I'm with stupid is on the stomach, because I'm such an idiot. Okay, so it should look like that. However, there's a possibility that it'll look something like this, which, yeah, it'll look like a smear and will most likely represent whatever background you're stood in front of. If this is the case, then you are the worst modder in the history of modding, and you should just give up on your life. Seriously, no, I'm joking, I'm joking. This is a very common problem, and we can fix it very easily by just doing a few tweaks on the Fallout Mod Manager. Okay, if this is your problem, you'll have to open up Fallout Mod Manager, Fallout New Vegas, and go into Tools, and make sure that Archive Invalidation is ticked. If it's not ticked, click on it and press Apply. If you can't make it tick, then you'll have to make the Fallout ini a read-only or a non-read-only. Just click Yes on that message that I always skip. And, well, I hope you've learnt a lot today with your modding experience. If you, which you possibly will, have any questions related to this particular tutorial, I will answer them. If it's related to a tutorial or anything that I have not covered, then I will not answer. For example, how do I make a whole campaign? I'm not going to answer that. I'm also not going to answer anything on meshes or anything like that, because that's I'm going to cover that later. I haven't actually learned how to use meshes yet. From what I've heard, it's not that difficult, so when I learn, you lot will learn. So yeah, I hope this worked out. If I've missed anything, mention it. If you have any questions, don't feel shy of asking. I'm grumpy, but I do answer to the best of my ability. Whenever I can, as long as the question isn't mind-numbingly stupid. Like, will this work for Call of Duty? Seriously, somebody asked me that once. Yeah, so have fun modding your armors and textures.